Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss one of the introduction part of design analysis of algorithm, and I am Dr. Sushil Kumar from IT department, Jay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Right. So this is the first lecture. So I will try to explain the basic concepts of algorithm. Right. So now let's see what exactly we are going to discuss. What are the syllabus we are trying to consider all the topics of the syllabus. So these are the syllabus we have. We'll discuss all this. We have 5 units, right? So in this syllabus today I will take the this part, algorithm, basic introduction of algorithm, analysis of algorithm, right? In the next class we'll see some of the other topics like complexity of algorithm and growth of function. But these are the 5 units we have in the design analysis of algorithm, right? So now let's see why this subject is very important, right? So before going to discuss this introduction of the design analysis of algorithm subjects, so first of all I recommend this test books, that is the Coreman book. This is the introduction of algorithm. This is the one of the best book, right? And this is another one is the second book. It is also a very good book. Is the fundamental of computer algorithm by Sartaj Sahni, right? So this is one of the these are the one of the most famous books, right? So you can go through that, and we can also find out what are the algorithms we have. So before going to elaborate this design analysis of algorithm, first of all we need to know about what are the basics question we have in this subject, right? So in this subjects we'll see what is algorithm, right? So because this is important, because without knowing the algorithm we cannot understand how can we design any algorithm, right? And we can also see why this subject is very important, why we are going to study this, right? So because this is a very important, right? Before going to take any subjects, study of any subjects, first of all we know why we are studying these subjects, right? And second one, we will see what is the role of algorithm in relative to another technology of computer, right? Because whatever you have designing any algorithm, first of all we think about which programming language we are going to prefer, right? So on the basis of, because all we know that the programming languages are the unambiguous, right? But it may be algorithm, it may be ambiguous, but we'll see what are the steps, or what are the steps we are going to take for designing any algorithm, right? So now we'll see what is algorithm, right? So basically the basic definition of the algorithm is basically the step-by-step representation of any solving any problem, right? So all we understand that the input and output, right? Because all we know that all the algorithms just like this. So this is, let's say this is the algorithm, and we need some input, and it will produce the output, right? So basic definition of the algorithm is basically the well-defined computational process. This means this steps contains the steps. So what are the steps we are going to consider? That will be the part of the algorithm, right? So basically this is algorithm is a step-by-step process of solving any problem to reach the output, right? So that is a set of inputs and procedures and some values and set of values and output. So these are the some important features in this, because suppose we have input and we are trying to find out the output. So we follow the sum of the steps. We follow the sum of the steps to find out the output. And what is the steps? That will be the stepwise process of this algorithm. Because we don't know before going to design any algorithm. First of all, we think that what are the steps we have to reach the output, right? And second one is the algorithm is a sequence of computational steps, right, that transform the input to output. So this is the main objective, input to output, right? And we are taking some of the process. So now we'll see before going to design any algorithm, first of all we need to understand that what are the characteristics, what are the properties of any algorithm, right? So all the algorithms that have the inputs output, and these are the input and output that should be specified, right? And similarly, there are the third characteristics of that algorithm is that should be definiteness, right? So definiteness, this means we are trying to find out the sequence of operations, right, to reach the input to output. Just I'm taking some example to understand that. Suppose I'm going to take some addition of two number, right? So addition of number, that is input is A and B is these are the input, right? These are the input, right? And now my output is, that is A plus B, right? So basically what exactly we are trying to do, we have some input that is specified and output is already specified, that will give the addition of these two numbers, right? So that means we are trying to take a sum of the steps. We are trying to take some of the steps to calculate the A plus B. So basically we need some operations, just like operation we have addition is the operation. But this is the simple example, but just you can think that suppose we are trying to find out the conversion of binary to decimal or decimal to binary. That means that algorithm that contains the sum of the steps, right? But here is only one single step, that doesn't matter, but these are the inputs and output and definiteness that should be specified, the sequence of operations what exactly we are trying to take a sum of the steps, right? Now next one is the effectiveness, right? So effectiveness, this means we are trying to require to get the output, and that must be feasible, right? Because we are output is not feasible, so that means that algorithm is not effective one, right? So that's why we are trying to focus on the effectiveness of the AT algorithm. And next one is the last one, characteristics of algorithm, that is finiteness, right? So finiteness, this means basically we are trying to check that your algorithm is finite or not, that is going to stop if we get the output or not. Because most of the cases we see that most of the time the algorithm, how much steps we are taking, and that algorithm is stopping or not at that particular certain output, right? So basically that should be the stopping criteria that should be involved in the algorithm, right? And the solution, if we get the response of the solution of the output, right? And next one is the algorithm should be clear and precise, right? So there are lots of process, there are lots of representation of algorithm, just like all of you, just like flowchart algorithm, flowchart representation of algorithm, pseudocode representation, or we can also write in step-by-step representation. Another one is we use the pseudocode representation of algorithm, right? So these are the some other representation of algorithm, right? So that algorithm should be clear and precise, and we are also trying to focus upon the programming languages, right? So programming languages are the formal languages with the clear and ambiguous rules. So what are the steps we have considered? All the steps that should be unambiguous, right? So we have to check one by one step, right, to get the required output. Now let's see why the algorithm we are trying to study, right? So in the previous slides we have also focused on the why you are going to study, right? Because most of the problem we are trying to resolve, right? So some of the problem is very difficult, right? So how can we solve that problem? So because that problem was very complicated, right? So we need some algorithm, we need some design of algorithm, right? So what kind of problems we are going to solve by using algorithm? So just I'm going to consider to understand the why we are trying to study this subject. Because one of the project is a human genome project, because this project is basically trying to find out the pattern of DNA, right? So this is also very difficult problem. What are the algorithm we are required to solve to identify the pattern of the DNA, right? So basically identification of, suppose in the human project, that is the 1 lakh genomes in the human DNA, but how can we identify? So this is one of the challenging problem, right? Similarly, in the determining the sequence of 3 billion chemical bases pair and make the human DNA. So basically we are trying to, because all we know that the DNA have some sequence, right? So trying to find out what are the sequences of the DNA is also a difficult problem, right? So how can we design this? How can you solve this problem? What are the steps we have to determine this, right? Similarly, sorting of this information in the database, because identification is okay, determination is okay, but also a sorting is another part of the algorithm design, just like insertion sort, bubble sort. There are lots of sorting algorithm, right? So because these are the very huge number of amount of genome, so sorting of these genomes also is very difficult, right? So this is one of the sorting problem is also we can consider in the design assist algorithm. Second one is the internet search, right? So internet search, basically we have tried to find out some key on the internet, right? So how the internet is giving the quick responses from the internet. So that responses, that is based on the sum of the algorithm, just like a meta search, a Google search, there are that contains the sum of the algorithm, right? On the basis of that algorithm, the Google, just like Google, they're giving the some output on the basis of whatever you are going to search on the internet, right? So this is also a it's also a part of the algorithm, right? Because we are trying to find out the access and retrieval of large amount of data from the internet enabled by the people, right? Similarly, in the next problem, that is a privacy concern, right? All we are living in the real world, right? So we need some privacy, just like because we are using the debit card and credit card and something like this. So what are the process, what are the algorithm we need to protect our debit card, credit card, or internet banking, something like this. So we need some of the privacy algorithms, also require some of the algorithm to protect it, because there are the subjects that like cryptography in the computer science. So in the computer science, that is the cryptography is basically we are trying to encrypt the messages, right? So that the attacker cannot understand the pattern of the input, right? So basically in this privacy, that is keeping the information such as like a credit card and password, this is one of the important, right? And bank statement, that will be private. So what will be the algorithm for that, right? Similarly, we can also use the design of algorithm part for in manufacturing field, right? Because we are trying to find out the maximum profit. How can you find out the maximum profit, right? So on the basis of the certain inputs, we are trying to find out the maximum profit. Similarly, we are trying to find out what are the maximum production we have, how can we reach the maximum production, and how can we minimize the loss, right? So these are the some algorithm, right? We need some algorithm for this type of difficult problems, right? Now these are the some sample problems. There are lots of problem in these subjects, like sorting, searching, single source shortest path, all pair shortest path, discuss algorithm, spanning tree. These are the lots of problems, like next up problem. So there are lots of problems we will discuss in this subjects, but these are the some of the sample problems we can also discuss in this subject. Determining of shortest path from one city to another city, determining the shortest route from one city to another city, determining the shortest route from all cities to another city. So these are the problems. It's a very difficult problem. These are the exponential type of problem, right? So we cannot solve in the polynomial type, but we'll see in this, right? Determining the number of possible route. How can you determine the number of possible route, right? Determining the legal matrices multiplication. This is another problem that we can use the dynamic programming in this, right? Legal matrix multiplication. So that is the matrix shell multiplication problem. How can you determine the what are the ways, what are the possible way of multiplication of various matrix, right? So similarly, another problem to find out all the integer x and that is satisfy the equation, that is this, right? So basically these are the equation that is used in the cryptography, right? So in this case, a and b and n are, these are the integer, a, b and n are integer. We are trying to find out the x. What will be the input output of x on the basis of a, b and n, and these variable a, b and n, these are the input integer values, right? So basically we are trying to find out the integer value of x. So this is another problem, right? So that we use in the cryptography of computer science subjects, right? So now I am going to consider some of the simple examples so that you can understand better, right? So that is the sorting sequence of number in the non decreasing, or you can say the ascending order. So how can we sort? Because before going to study this subject, first of all we take some simple example, what are the steps we are going to consider, we have considered, and how can we analyze that algorithm, right? because in this subject, but that is basically design analysis of algorithm. This means first of all we have to design that algorithm, and then we have to analyze that algorithm. This means we are trying to find out the complexity, right? We are trying to find out the complexity, what are the process to find out the complexity. That's why I am taking these subjects to understand what are the steps we have, right? So basically in the sorting problem, basically we have some inputs like A1 to N. Suppose we have n number of inputs, and my objective is to sort these elements, right? So basically we are using some sorting algorithm, right, to get the sum of the some output, let's say A1 dash, A2 dash, and up to An dash. So basically in this expression, these are the unsorted input and these are the sorted input. In this means that A1 that is greater than is A2 dash, and similarly A3 is greater than A2 is greater than A3, and so on and so on, right? So this is something like a decreasing order. You can also consider like this, if A1 is less than A2 and A2 dash, and A2 dash is less than A3. So this is for the increasing order and this is for the decreasing order, right? So there are the various way, but mostly we are trying to find out this one, right? Because we are going to sort the unsorted array into sorted array. So we'll see the process. How can we, because we are focusing here, right? So what are the process? What are the algorithm we have, right, to sort this element, right? So insertion sort I am going to consider because the insertion sort is one of the sorting algorithm, and this is the one of the simple algorithm that is based on the arranging of cards, right? So most of the people, we don't know how we are arranging the cards, right? So basically if you are arranging the cards in playing cards, that is based on the insertion sort, right? So in the insertion sort, basically we have some random number of cards, and now we are trying to trying to sort, right? So basically if you are trying to sort these cards on the basis of the arrangement, because suppose we get the first one is, that is 4, 5 and 6, and that is 7. Suppose 7 is suppose 7 card is here, right? So what will we think, right? So basically the 7 will be compared with the previous, that is 10, and again we have to compare with the 7. So 7 is smaller than 10, but 7 is greater than 5, so 7 will be inserted here, right? So basically the arranging of card is based on the insertion sort. So main objective is this, we are trying to sort these cards, right? So now I am going to take some example to understand this, right? What are the steps we have in this, right? So I think this is a blur, doesn't matter, we'll try to explain this one, right? So basically suppose we have some input unsorted array, right, is 5, 2, 4, 6, 1 and 3, right? And these are the indexes we have, right? So this is the unsorted array, and my objective is to sort this one by using insertion sort, right? So what is the process for this? So basically suppose in this case, suppose first element is, because the single element is already sorted, right? We are not comparing with the other elements. So the first element that will be sorted, right? So now we are trying to check for the second cards that is smaller or greater, right? So basically suppose 2 is coming here, right? So basically 2 compare with the just previous element, that is 2, because suppose card number 2 is comes second times, so basically just we have to compare with the just previous card, that is 5, and that is 2. So 2 is smaller than 5, so now we have to shift this. Suppose first of all you have to take some variable that we can store in this key value, that is 2, right? And 2 is smaller than 5, so we have to shift this one step forward, and then we have to check for another. We don't have any element after before 5, so that means that the key value will be inserted here. So basically in this algorithm, basically we are not doing swiping, basically we are forwarding the element, we are shifting the element from initial to final, one step forward, right? So basically 5 is forwarded and 2 is placed at the second one. Similarly after this we can, the third card is coming 4, that is 4, and 4 is smaller than 5, so now we have to shift 5 one step forward, and then we have to compare with the 2. So here is 2 is smaller than 4, so 2 will not be forwarded one step forward, right? So we have to place the key values at the location of 5, right? Similarly in this case we can see here the 6 is coming, right? 6 input is 6 card is coming. Now we have to compare with just previous number, that is 5. So 5 is smaller, already smaller than 6. So we don't require the comparison of 2 and 4 because these are the already sorted, right? Initially that 5 will be sorted, and after then 2 and 5 will be sorted, right? Similarly, after the second steps we got the 2, 4, 5. So these are the already sorted, right? So only we have to compare with the just previous elements, right, in the insertion sort. Basically we are also trying in the playing of card also, right? So we have to compare with the just previous number. Here 6 is greater than 5, so that will be no forwarding, just key value will be placed at the original location, right? Similarly we can suppose 1 is coming, right? So here there are lots of shifting is occurring, right? So in this case we have to compare with the 6 1. 6 is greater than 1, so we have to shift one step forward. Similarly 5 is also smaller than 1, that is again we have to shift this one, right, one step forward. Similarly 4 is also smaller than 1, we have to shift. 2 is also smaller than 1, there we have to shift. And we don't have after that element, just we have to place that element in the proper location, right? So basically we are trying to adjust, we are trying to arrange these elements on the basis of shifting, right, shifting of cards, right? Similarly we can see here that 3 is coming, so we have to compare with the 6. 6 is greater than 3, so we have to shift this one, shifted here. 5 is also greater than 3, then we have to shift it one step forward. Similarly 4 is also greater than 3, that this means we have already swapped it, right, already shift, right? Similarly 2 and 3, so 2 is smaller than 3, so there is not be 2 will not be shift one step forward, so we have to place 3 at location 3. Similarly we get the output, right? So basically in this algorithm, basically what exactly we are trying, we are using the shift operation, and we are trying to compare the previous element, right? So and these previous element that will be sorted, right? So now we'll see the some of the pseudocode of this insertion sort, right? So before going to understand the pseudocode, right, because in the most of the cases in the subjects we are trying to represent the algorithm in the pseudo form, right? So in this case, so basically what exactly the pseudocode of this we'll see and we'll try to explain, right? So now here this is the insertion sort. So basically we have, suppose we have suppose 1 2 3 and suppose 4 and 5. Suppose we have 5 elements, let's say 7 2 9 4 9 4, and that is 8, right? So basically what exactly we are trying to, we are assuming that the first element that will be sorted, right? So we require the loop from second to fifth, right? So that's why the first loop is coming from here, right? So basically first of all we have assumed that first one is sorted and trying to sort these remaining elements, right? So now suppose 7 is sorted, so the next element that should be key, right? That will be key values, right? So key value will be compared with the previous element, so that's why the key is here, key is stored in J, right? So J is here, and I is just previous of this number. I is equal to J minus 1, that previous of that J, right? So basically in this J, I is equal to, that is J minus 1, right? Just previous of I, just previous of J, sorry, I is just previous of J, right? Similarly these are the steps, right? This is the inner loop for shifting, we are using these steps for shifting, right? So this is the comparison one, and this is for we don't have any element after for comparison after that, right? Because in this case we can see here, so in this case just like this at 2, so 3 is here, so let's say just here, right? No, so just you can see here, right? So 5 is 2, right? So we have shifted, right? But after then we don't have any requirement, just like this, suppose 2 4 5, so here we have shifted, but after this means 1 is here, so 1 will be placed at the initial step, but we don't have after any element before 2, right? So that's why this is the condition we use, we don't have any element after before I, right? And this is for the comparison of key element with the A of I element, right? Similarly we are trying to shift, that way AI is stored in AI plus 1, and J is equal J is equal to J minus 1, right? Because once we have compared with the previous element, if that element is greater, then we have to shift this one. So we have shifted, and and I will be decreased one step, right? This means I is going back and j is going forward, right? And now we have placed the key value at the I plus 1 location, right? Because suppose suppose we have compared with the data element, and that element is smaller than the key values, right? So suppose, and that element, that is I plus 1 location, we are going to store, because at the I location that the smallest element will be present, right? But I plus 1, that will be backend, so we have to place the key element at that particular location. Now we will see some of the how can we find out the complexity, right? So basically these are the pseudocode we have already discussed. Now we see how can we find out the worst case complexity of this algorithm, because this is the initial algorithm by which we can understand the process for computation of worst case complexity of any algorithm, right? So basically all we know that all the steps, these are the statement, and a statement content that will be stored in the memory, right? So it takes some cost, that will be constant, right? So each statement that represents the cost, right? So the first statement that is contains the cost C1, second that is C2, and this is for the comment one, that's why this is a 0, that will not be executed, right? That will not be stored in the memory, right? And similarly this is cost of this statement is C3, C4, C5, C6 and up to C of 8. So these are the cost we use to storing the memory for that particular statements, right? Now we see how many times that statement executing, right? So as we can see here, that is for loop that is started from 2 to n. Suppose n is the total length of the array, right? So now we have a started from 2 to n, right? So this step, how much time this statement is executing, right? Suppose I am just taking some examples so that understand. For let's say 4 is equal to I is equal to, suppose we have started from I is less than or equal to n and j plus plus. So this statement executed n plus 1 times, because the false condition will also be executed in the for loop, right? So that's why this for loop is executed n plus 1, but here we have a started from 2, right? 2 to n. So that, and in this case this for loop will be executed n times, right? Because the false condition also be executed in this case, right? Similarly these are the inside of for loop. So inside of the inside statement of that for loop will be executed n minus 1 time. This means if we are executing n times, so the statement will be executed n minus 1 times. So this will be the n minus 1 times. Similarly this will be n minus 1 times, but that this is the comment, so we don't have any requirement, right? Because the overall that will be 0, right? So here is this step is also taking n minus 1 times. And similarly for this is the while loop and this is the inner loop. This is the main part of this insertion sort, right? So basically let's say this the while loop executed tj times. Let's say while loop is executed tj times, right? And tj time is executed n minus 1 times, right? So this one is, that is summation of j is equal to 2 to n and tj times, right? Because this inner loop will be inside of this for loop, right? So that's why this is the, suppose single while loop is taking tj times. This means case the overall the time of overall number of number of comparison of the while loop, that is summation of j is equal to 2 to n and tj times. Similarly for the this one is also, that is because if you are tj times, so that will be executed tj minus 1 times in the inner loop. Just I am going to discuss in this case tj minus 1 times, this also tj minus 1 times, right? But this statement is comes under the outer loop, right? So we have to summation of all these things, right? So we have sum this from 2 to n. Similarly this is the outside of this while loop, so that is will execute n minus 1 times, right? Now we have to try to find out the overall complexity, overall summation of this, means that will give the worst case complexity, that is t of n. So basically that is c1 into n, because suppose n1 cost is taking, right? So this means c1 into n, that will give, that will be the overall time for executing this statement, right? Similarly for C2 into n minus 1, 0 into n minus 1, C4 into n minus 1, and so on, right? And we have now we have sum of this all these statements, right? We get this one, right? C1 into n and C2 into n. So this is the final one, right? So now we'll see what are the condition, what are the cases we have in the insertion sort, so that insertion sort will be in base case, or will be in the average case, or even will be in the worst case, right? So depending on this, basically suppose we are trying to find out the best case, right? So in the best case, so inner only have to focus on the inner loop, right? So if the inner loop is executed very less times, this means insertion sort will be in the base case. Otherwise, if this inner while loop is taking lot of time, right, maximum times, that means the insertion sort will take worst case, right? Similarly in the average case also, how much we will see later on, right? So now we will see how can we compute this one. So just I am going to discuss the base case of the insertion sort. So base case occurs when if the array is already sorted. Why? This is the one of the important question. Why, if the elements are in sorted order, why the insertion sort is in base case, right? So basically if you have the element in the sorted order and we are trying to sort this again, right, because already sorted, right? So basically suppose we are going to compare, suppose the playing card we can see here, suppose we get the cards, right, and cards are already sorted, so there is no requirement, right? There is no requirement for any shifting, right? So in that case there is no any shifting is occurring, right? This means the inner loop is not executing constant time, right? So overall the complexity of the insertion sort will be n. So now we'll see how exactly it work, right? So basically we are trying to a of j that is less than n in line 4 of that algorithm, right? That is line 5 is that is basically the while loop, right? And that is if tj minus 1, tj is equal to 1. If tj is equal to 1, this means the inner loop that is executed single times. This means while loop executed single times. So there is no any requirement, right, for executing the inner loop, because all the elements are already in sorted order, right? So in that case the summation part will be avoided, right? So that is C1 into n, C2 into n, C3 that will always be 0, and C4 into n minus 1, because the tj summation of j is equal to 2 to n, that is tj, that is equal to n minus 1, because this one is the constant time, right? This is value is equal to 1. 1 is, this means they executed only single times, right? So in this case if you are going to sum this value 1 plus 1 plus up to n, that will give the n minus 1. So here n minus 1, similarly this is also n minus 1, this is also n minus 1, and after simplifying this one we get the n plus b times. This means that n plus b, this means that this is the linear one, right? This is the linear one. So insertion sort will take linear time when the elements are in sorted order, otherwise it will not becomes in linear, right? So this is the overall conditions, right? And this running time can be expressed as, this is the because a and b are the constant, because c1 and c2 these are the constant, so n plus b time, right? And this is the linear function. So in this case the insertion sort takes linear time. Now let's say I'm just going to discuss the worst case of insertion sort. In the worst case, what will the condition on given array that will give the worst case of insertion sort? So basically suppose the number is something like this, that is 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1, right? And now objective of this is to sort like this, right? 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. So if these are the input array we have, and trying to sort this element in this form, right? So in this case we are the inner loop will be executed maximum times, right? Because the outer loop is already executing in times, right? In times, right? And but the inner loop, that is while loop, that is executed maximum as possible, right? So what is, as you can see here, just suppose here this is the 5 is already sorted and 4 is here, so now you have to compare with this, right? So now next element is 4 and 5, now next is 3 is coming, right? So 3 is, when the 3 is coming, so now you have to again shift. The maximum shift is occurring here, right? This means the inner loop will be executed as maximum as possible, right? So now here, so this is the main condition for if you are trying to sort increasing to decreasing or decreasing to increasing, right? So we, in this case, the insertion sort will take the worst case, right? So in this case we must compare with the each element aj, because the inner loop is executed as maximum, right? So in this case the entire sorted sub array is shifting, right? 1 to j minus 1 is shifting, right? So in that case the tj value will be equal to j, because this is executed as maximum, right? So that tj value is j, right? In the best case that tj is equal to 1, because executed only one times, but here is tj is equal to j. This means we have the inner loop will be executed as maximum, because tj is equal to j is coming here, right? So in that case, so we can compute this one, because in general, as we can see here, so as we can see here, we need to substitute tj is equal to j, and similarly we can substitute tj minus 1. Similarly here is tj minus 1. Similarly here, this is no problem, right? So if you are this is something like, suppose this, basically this means we are going to compute tj to n, and that is one is j, right? Another one is j is equal to 2 to n, that is j minus 1, right? Here is also j minus 1, here is also j minus 1 is also here is also j minus 1, and here is j. So we need to compute this one, right? So that's why we have computed here. So that will tj, that value will be computed that by, this is because of this is the AP series, right? That's why n into n plus 1 divided by 2 minus 1. This is the coming from the AP series. Similarly this is also coming from the AP series of j minus 1, 2 to n, right? So basically this is the something like 2 plus 3 and up to that is n, and similarly this is coming from 2, that is 2 minus 1, that is 1, 2 n up to n minus 1. So basically we are going to sum of this, we get this one, right? So now we have to substitute these values on the original one. So now we have substituted here, we have also substituted here. So now we get this type of, right? This is basically n square is also coming, here is also n. So overall, as we can see here, something like an square plus bn plus c. So this is the quadratic, right? So worst case of insertion sort is coming under the quadratic function. This in this case we'll see later on how it's coming n square. Let's so I will tell you, right, when the growth of function will discuss, right? So this worst case, that is running time, that can be expressed, that is n square plus c times, right? And for constant, that is a plus b, that is our constant, and these are the function is quadratic function. So that is basically that is greater than an square plus bn plus c, that will be greater than an plus b times, right? So it takes more time as compared to the base case, because this is the base case and this is the worst case, right? Now we will see some of the average cases we have. So now in this case the average cases, so what are the condition for the average cases, right? So in the average cases, basically we are often roughly as bad as worst case. Basically in the average case we are trying to find out what are the worst as compared to the worst case also, right? So in this case the main condition is this. So suppose we have random chosen numbers, n numbers we have, and now we are applying the insertion sort, and now we think about how long does it takes, insertion sort takes to determine the subarray. So basically this means that is a 1 to j minus 1 2, we are going to insert an element into a of j. So on an average, the average case of insertion sort, that is basically half of the element, that is 1 to j minus r, lesser than the a of j, right? So suppose we have n number of element and half of the elements are in increasing order, right, and lesser than. So in that case some of the part will be shifted and some of the part will not be shifted, right? So in this case, that's why the average case comes into the picture in the insertion sort. On an average, therefore we check the half of the subarray from I minus 1 to tj, that is j minus 1, and that is it will work as also quadratic. Suppose we have substituted that is a minus 1, you will get the also the worst case, right? So these are the overall analysis of algorithm, and we'll discuss in the next class. We will discuss the some of the another algorithm, that is divide and conquer strategy, right? So we'll see in the next class. Thank you.